Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about something most of us have never really thought about. And even if we have, it probably just passed through our minds in a flash. The truth is, there are millions of people over the age of 60 taking too much blood pressure medication. Yes, you heard me right. Too much. I've been a doctor for more than 30 years, and I've seen this happen so often that there are nights I lie awake wondering, have I done enough to protect them? Because the consequences aren't just about the numbers on a blood pressure monitor. It's the dizzy spell when you stand up from your chair. It's the weakness you feel the moment you get out of bed. It's the worried look on your kids' faces when they see you holding onto the wall to make it to the kitchen. And sometimes, it's that one fall, just one, that can change the rest of your life. I'll never forget one crisp autumn morning. A patient of mine, Robert, 72 years old, called me with a shaky voice. "Doc, this morning the whole room started spinning. I sat down, and when my daughter took my blood pressure, it was only 78. We checked again. Sure enough, it was true. And I realized the problem wasn't that his body had suddenly grown weaker. It was that he was taking more medication than he actually needed. We adjusted his dose, kept a close watch. A few weeks later, he smiled and told me, "Doc, I feel like I'm a few years younger again." I'm not sharing this story to alarm you, but to help us face a very real truth. As we age, our bodies change. Our blood vessels get stiffer, our heart rate slows, and that ideal blood pressure from our younger years may no longer be right for us. But sadly, too often, the prescription stays the same, sometimes even adding more, year after year. And you know what? That's not always the doctor's fault. Our healthcare system is overloaded. Many people don't have a primary care doctor who follows them long term. Prescriptions get written, but rarely is there enough time to stop and ask, do we still need this much? Add to that the pressure from ever-tightening treatment guidelines, plus the economic incentives in the pharmaceutical industry, and you end up with far too many patients quietly falling into a pattern of overtreatment without even realizing it. But I want you to understand something. This is not a hopeless situation. The good news, and I say this with the confidence of someone who has seen hundreds of success stories, is that if you know how to listen to your body, if you're willing to make changes to your lifestyle, you can often lower your dose. And in some cases, even come off your medication entirely. Of course, always with your doctor by your side. Have you ever asked yourself, am I taking more medication than I really need? Imagine this. Every morning you wake up, take your blood pressure, and the reading is always around 100, maybe 105. Not just once in a while, but almost every single day. Your body starts sending you signals. A little dizziness when you bend down, shaky knees when you stand up. Those could be your body's way of telling you, it's time to reevaluate that prescription. From a medical standpoint, here's something important you should know. More than 80% of high blood pressure cases in people over 50 are linked to insulin resistance, meaning your body isn't using blood sugar efficiently, which drives blood pressure up. This isn't destiny. It's a reflection of how we eat, how we move, and even how we handle stress. And stress? Well, long-term stress raises your cortisol levels, which in turn pushes your blood pressure higher. Poor sleep, tossing and turning, waking up in the middle of the night, can also cause that number on the monitor to creep up over time. I've seen patients turn this around. One woman, Linda, 65 years old, was taking 3 different blood pressure medications every day. We started simple. She bought a home blood pressure monitor, checked it 3 times a day for 2 weeks, and kept a log. At the same time, she cut back on sugar and salt, ate more fresh vegetables, and took a gentle morning walk every day. The result? After 3 months, her blood pressure was more stable, and we were able to reduce her from 3 medications down to just 1. She told me, I never thought just changing a few habits could make such a big difference. What I want to leave you with today is this. Blood pressure isn't just about a number. It's about taking charge of your own health. You don't have to accept a long list of pills every morning as your fate. You can become the driver of your own health journey, armed with knowledge, patience, and the support of a healthcare team. So if, after hearing me today, you feel like you might be over-medicated on your blood pressure drugs, don't stay silent. Start by getting yourself a reliable home blood pressure monitor. Check it regularly, keep track of your results, and most importantly, bring that record to your doctor so together you can decide on the next step forward. Because healthy blood pressure doesn't just come from a pill. It comes from the way we eat, the way we sleep, the way we live every single day. And sometimes it's the smallest changes, adding a short walk to your day, taking an afternoon nap, or spending a few quiet minutes breathing deeply in the morning, that turn out to be the most valuable medicine of all. So I want you to ask yourself, what's one small change I could start today for my heart? I know, for many people, medication is tied to a sense of safety. Holding that pill in your hand each morning, swallowing it down, it can feel like a little shield that guarantees your blood pressure is under control. But I want you to think about it a bit differently. Medication isn't the enemy, but it's also not the only answer. Another patient of mine, Michael, 68 years old, once said to me, "Doc, I always thought I'd be taking this medication for the rest of my life. But now I'm starting to wonder, is there a way I could take less?" That question opened up an entire journey. We started with the simplest step, home monitoring. He bought a blood pressure machine, and every morning, afternoon, and evening, he took a reading and wrote it down. After 2 weeks, I looked at his log and smiled. "Michael, more than half of these readings are lower than they need to be." So we began lowering his dose, slowly, carefully, one small adjustment at a time, always checking along the way. 6 months later, he was down to just one medication, and his blood pressure was still right where it needed to be. What I want to emphasize is this: controlling blood pressure is a partnership between the patient and the doctor. It's not the doctor's job alone, and it's not your job alone. When both sides work together, listen to the body, and share the same goal, the results are almost always better. There's a medical concept I want to share with you: personalized treatment. Each of us is a unique story. That ideal blood pressure number you see on paper doesn't fit everyone. For a 40-year-old, 120 over 80 might be perfect. But for an 85-year-old with stiffer arteries, 130 to 140 might actually be the safer range. The problem is, if we try to force everyone into the same ideal number, sometimes the harm outweighs the benefit. And for older adults, pushing blood pressure too low can be far more dangerous than letting it run just a little higher. So the most important thing isn't just the number, it's how you feel. If you're strong, alert, not dizzy, not falling, that is what real success looks like. I've always believed our hearts are like lifelong companions. They've been working tirelessly from the day we were born, and they'll keep going until our very last breath. That's why they deserve to be cared for with both respect and understanding. And caring for your heart isn't just about taking your medication on time. It's sitting down to a balanced breakfast. Not too salty, not loaded with sugar. It's taking a walk in the park, breathing deeply, letting the blood flow and the mind unwind. It's getting enough sleep so that when you wake up in the morning, you feel refreshed instead of drained. And most importantly, it's about listening to your body, tuning into the smallest signals your heart might be sending you. If today you feel like you might be taking more medication than you really need, start taking action. Get yourself a good blood pressure monitor. Check your numbers regularly. Keep detailed notes. Bring those records to your doctor. And together, see if your body might function even better with less medication. Remember, the goal isn't to stop medication at all costs. The goal is to live healthy, safe, and fully. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. If this story has made you stop and think, please share this video with your loved ones. With anyone who's on their own journey of caring for their heart. Hit like to support the channel, subscribe so you don't miss my next talk, and leave a comment. I always want to hear your stories, because as I often say, every heart is a story, and together we'll keep writing it, one beat at a time.